So, hey everybody, welcome back to the WeMoa Podcast. It's me, Noah, and I'm going to skip the WeMoa part because I know I won't get her to stop laughing. Today is the first interview, and I thought, who better to kick it off with than my baby mama, life partner in crime, working on that best friend thing as well. Than her. There's nobody better to kick this off. So we are going to start this podcast with a little intro to you. I'll ask you questions as well, so you don't have to just talk on the spot. I know how much you love being here in front of the camera. We're going to talk about what it's like being with someone like me. So get ready for that. And then I'd like to talk about you and your journey as a mom and a person generally. And then I think we'll call it a day. We got a nice one planned for today. And I asked her before this started, I don't know if I'll put it in or not, but I don't know who's more nervous for this podcast, me or you. What do you think?
I can't tell you.
Because, I mean, from my side, I think it's, I have you here. You're the person who knows me best.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true.
We'll see. And so we get down to the dirty truth about life with me and your life in general. And I'll kick it off by saying, who are you? Where are you from? And what's your profession?
Okay, well, I am Kim. I'm from Berlin originally, but I grew up in the States. And I'm your partner, the wife, no, not yet wife, the mother of your kids. And I don't know, I'm a teacher currently, but actually I studied to become a marine biologist. So maybe that will come back at some point, but it's a difficult career or a job to be doing in Berlin, as there's no ocean. What else can I tell you? What else do you know?
The main thing for the start of this podcast is I want to get the honest take eventually on what it's like being with someone who is sometimes high energy, sometimes low energy, giving a lot of energy outside of the house, someone who's a fitness, really, I think I remember talking to you about the fact that I have nothing to talk about other than fitness in the beginning of our relationship, and you thought it was funny. But let's start with that then, life with a personal trainer. So what was it like when we first met? Let's start with that.
I think when we first met, we were in quite similar areas of our life or stages in our life. I was also hardcore into the fitness journey myself. Hence, we were both working in a fitness studio, just different positions. It was interesting for me. I think you were obviously a good-looking young guy, which attracted me to you. You were American, which attracted me to you because I was missing that part of my life. I never, even though I was born in Berlin, I never really felt myself as a Berliner, so I enjoyed speaking English, and I liked that about you. And you had a lot of high energy. You were always smiling, always had a great attitude, and I wanted to hang out with someone like that.
That makes me happy. I guess from my side, did you say we met at Holmes' place? I don't know if you did, but we met at our place of work, and we tried to keep it a secret for as long as possible, but I was attracted to you because of your smile. You worked at the reception. You're always also happy and outgoing, and I actually, when you were working, I never would be working because I would just be downstairs talking to you. Eventually, I worked up the courage to ask you out on a date, which was burritos, right?
Yeah.
Did we ever get... We didn't go to get burritos for our first date, though, right? Did we?
I'm unsure. You definitely asked me to go get burritos. That was the line, because I was like, oh yeah, there's no good Mexican food here, burritos. And you're like, oh no, there is, I don't even remember what the place is called.
Dolores, which isn't even Mexican, but it's a good burrito.
It's a good burrito.
Not a paid advertisement. So when we first got together, what was your first impressions of me outside of the gym?
You just were a happy-going guy. You were interested in being outside, getting around, learning new things. You were super into soccer at the time still. And yeah, you were extremely friendly, and yeah, I enjoyed hanging out with you. There was obviously also a very strong physical connection there, which is important. And yeah.
Were you ever scared that I was gonna like make you run marathons and stuff, or is that more of a new development?
No, it's more of a new development. No, like I said, at the time we were at a very similar stage in life. Fitness was what I was living at the time, and so were you. And I think that obviously brought us together. I remember we would meet up to go on runs together, and you trained me after work, before work. That was what I was into at the time as well. Mm-hmm. So it obviously brought us together.
I totally agree. It was, for me, I finally met someone who I could communicate with, because it was my first year in Berlin.
I think it was like your first few months in Berlin.
Yeah.
I think you arrived, in like January, and we met in
May or June.
May, yeah.
And I could maybe speak at a very low level German. I don't actually remember. I think we didn't speak any German. So I was like, I tried the dating scene for my first few months here, and there were always mixes of German girls, and I mean, I didn't have that many girls, let's be honest. You always thought I did, but I like to keep it simple. But what I'm trying to get at is we hit it off, not only for me because of the fitness, but because I finally found this beautiful woman who I could communicate with, and we vibed on so many different levels, and it was refreshing, I think, maybe for you too, because of the English speaking connection and the different culture energy of being in Germany compared to America. Sure. I guess I could ask you about that, because for me, you are like both German and American. Mm-hmm. I think I've asked you this before, but right now, what do you identify more as?
I think probably now more German.
Okay.
I would say when we met, probably still more American.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time, so a lot of time in between. And I would probably say now that I've also actually been working in a more German field as a teacher, I feel more swayed in that direction.
Okay, I think I've turned into the little German as well.
Well, you definitely are a little German boy. In many ways, but also in many ways you don't fit into that category either.
Okay, and I would like to ask, if you could change one fitness-related habit of mine, what would it be? Be honest.
One fitness-related habit?
Yeah, of course. I don't want to tell me to put my clothes away.
I don't know. Fitness-related habit, probably the fact that you are always trying to also push me too much to to improve or do more sport, or sometimes I just wish it was just a bit more chill.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How could I do that?
I don't know. Just less trying to get me to always join in and do it as well. Or
Like ice bathing?
less motivation. I think that's maybe the word, motivation. You are an extreme motivator, which is amazing, but if being your partner and to always, it's like sometimes you don't want motivation. Sometimes you just want someone to understand you want to be in a bad mood right now or something.
Yeah.
And I think you, as a fitness trainer, you are used to always having to do that, push people and make them realize they can get past that. But sometimes a person doesn't need that constantly.
They just need a hug or
yeah. They need a
shoulder.
wallow. I don't know. Yeah.
I can take some notes here. Good thing I'm recording it. So I'd like to transition a little bit into your journey going from that high energy 20-year-old to now a mother of two. Mm-hmm. And so I'll start with like pregnancy and postpartum. What was the biggest shock for you? How pregnancy changed you as a person first, and then as a body, in your body?
I think it's obviously different for every woman, but going from 0 kids to 1 child and having gone through 9 months of carrying that child and giving birth, I would say changed me completely as a person. I think there's very little left of the person who I was before. I don't know if it also has a lot to do with how, I think it's a very positive thing here in Germany that you have maternity leave for up to a year, but not only have you just carried a human being within you for 9 months and changed your eating habits, your drinking habits, things you used to do for 9 months, but then for a following year, you commit your life to just that human being. And so I think a lot of who I was got lost along the way. And it probably is negative in some parts, but also positive in other things. I think it is something that you have to learn to adjust to. I had to learn or realize that that's just the way it is now, or things have changed for me, outlooks, personality traits maybe as well. And other people, it might not be so intense. I think if you're a woman who was like planning on having a child, I think we weren't planning on it. It kind of just happened, and then we decided to flow that train or take that train. And so I had a lot of mental things to deal with throughout the time, maybe because I wasn't fully ready. And so it could be different for women who are very gung-ho on this is what they want to do.
Yeah, it was also at a crazy time in your life when our first daughter was born. It was the end of your master, right? Yeah, I was finishing the master, so I finished my master thesis, I think like a week before she came. Yeah, so you had just studied for 8 years.
Yeah.
You did bachelor and then a master.
Yeah.
And were ready to technically start a career.
Yeah.
And then you had a kid.
Yeah.
And were home for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
Kind of crazy.
That's insane, yeah.
This is one of the main reasons I wanted to do this with you, is because we live it, but we don't ever really talk about it. And this is me capturing you finally for 20, 30 minutes to talk about us and you and me and our family. And thanks for being open to share it with the 7 people who are going to be listening to this. But you talked that just now about you as a person. What about physical? Because I think mentally, obviously, there are changes, but what about physical? I know that one, it might be straightforward, but for maybe people who are listening, maybe not.
Definitely. Obviously, physical changes as well. I think the further on in the pregnancy stage, obviously your body changes in multitude of ways. You're growing a belly in the front, your breasts are growing. You can feel all your organs being pushed into different parts of your body where they don't feel like they belong. But I would say, I think the bigger kind of physical change, but maybe not as noticeable, is definitely after you've given birth, is I don't know, you just don't, during the pregnancy, you feel like this is you, because, it's this thing you're growing and you feel very connected to it, but then all of a sudden after giving birth, there's nothing inside of you anymore, and your body is just kind of like an empty casing. And it was very, I didn't, looking at yourself in the mirror, I think maybe some women don't care, but for me it was very difficult. Your stomach feels like it's hanging a little bit. Your breasts, all of a sudden, I was always so excited, oh my gosh, you get these massive breasts, but then they're like absurdly huge compared to what they were before, but then they're quite veiny or things like this. So a lot of physical changes, and I think also just the tiredness of your body after having given birth for, I don't know, months after that, and feeling or having to reconnect with also this physical new human being you've become after as well. Yeah.
And so after the first, would you say it was different to the second child or the same?
The second child was much easier, I would say, physically and mentally. I think my body, you could tell the second time that thing, like you could tell that the body had gone through it before. Like the body knew exactly what to do to go back to normal state. I think it obviously, in a sense, takes longer because your body is just a bit looser after, because it's not the first time it's done it, but you can tell that your body, you're much more, at least for me, I was able to get up much faster. I was much more active after. So I had much more strength, and I think that comes to the fact that your body is like, oh yeah, I get this, I know what to do. But even though in the long run it actually takes longer for everything to kind of settle back to normal.
In the reality
of it,
the second one, it takes longer to go back.
I think so. Yeah. But I had more energy and everything. Like I had a lot more physical strength than after. But I think, our fitness
with the first daughter did you get right back into it, or?
No, I was with our first one. I worked out basically up until giving birth, but then after it was very hard for me to get back into it. So I would say it almost took 3 years, and I still never really went back to the same that my fitness journey was before. It was very difficult. Jumping, anything physical, definitely in the beginning just didn't feel good. It hurt. My joints, everything just didn't feel aligned. And then it was very difficult to get back into it. And I would say now, after the second one, is the first time where I've started us together now working out again, and me trying to find that part of myself again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is it starting to feel like it's going somewhere, or you feel like you're hitting a brick wall, or fighting, or how does it feel?
No, it feels good. I would say going to the gym or doing a workout or just some kind of physical movement, you can obviously feel that there's been a lot that has happened in your body, and it's sad to see the types of weights you're able to lift when you compare it to what it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I think that's for anyone who doesn't do, if they stop working out for 4 or 5 years. So, yeah.
The body starts slowing down.
Adapting
to the new stress, which is not as much of it.
Yeah. No, but I would say it's a fun journey. It's fun to get back into it and know that the body was able to do this before, and it's possible to get back to that.
I can definitely say for me, it was similar. Like, I didn't have a child inside of me or anything, but and maybe it was just coincidence, but I also, over the past few years, wasn't at my best or my highest energy. And I kind of feel like, at least from my side, we're realigning right now, which feels nice. We're doing workouts together for the first time in years. Kind of, I guess, rekindling maybe our relationship. I can say with kids, for me, like I see stuff on social media all the time where these massive families are like 4 or 5 kids, but the parents are still looking like chiseled from rock, and the mom is skinnier than she was before the first child. And I know for me, it adds pressure, or this idea that I need to be like that as well. I need to be the fittest dad in Moabit or Berlin, and I guess that's kind of where the motivation comes from, where I'm pushing you. I see all this shit on the internet that I maybe compare myself to, and I'm sure, is that the same for you? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I think social media is terrible in that sense, that you see perfect lives or what you think are perfect lives, but I think one just always has to be clear that every person, every life is different, and I don't know, they get paid to have the time to work out, or what do I know? We live a pretty normal Joe kind of life, and I think in that, adjusting to being a family, having kids, going to work, and also having time for yourself to be healthy is, for the average Joe type of person like us, quite difficult, I would say. And of course you can get stuck in social media, and probably I did for a while as well, but it's important to get yourself out of that.
I feel so bad sometimes because I was the one who made you get social media.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what is
Worst decision in my life.
So, just for a background, Kim has a phone, but I think 50%, maybe even less than 50% of the time, it's actually on your person, which is actually, in today's day and age, something to look up to. I think that's pretty amazing. In other cases, when someone's trying to get a hold of you, kind of frustrating. But I think, I feel a bit bad that I put that in your life, because it's cool. You get to see things. There's inspiration out there, but I think for the most part, at least I look at it and I get stuck doom scrolling. And then when you yell at me, "Noah, what are you doing?" I'm like, I hate her for saying that, but I'm also inside saying, thank you for saving me from this doom scrolling. I do the same thing to you sometimes. But since we were kind of on the topic of the motherhood thing, I'd like to transition to life as a mom and eventually a professional. So right now, let's talk about your normal day. How does a normal day look like for Kim?
A normal day right now during maternity leave?
With 2 kids.
During
maternity leave.
It's pretty chill. No, what does a normal day look like? I wake up sometime between, around 6, maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit later, depending on how the night or how the little one sleeps. Then you pull yourself out of bed, you get the kids dressed, diapers changed, ready for the day. Then usually I take our oldest, Cleo, to daycare, which thank goodness is just around the corner, so it's a 2-minute walk. And then I come home. Probably it's already time to then put the little one back to sleep for a nap. And then we have breakfast together usually, if you have time. I do all types of housework, laundry, cleaning. It's insane what you and a almost 4-year-old child can do in the house.
Who do you think produces the most laundry? Me, the 3.5-year-old, the 5-month-old, or you?
I think you and the for sure. Yeah.
But I swear I wear the same thing all week just so that I'm not making more laundry.
I don't know what you do.
Maybe you're just thinking the clothes are dirty and taking them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so lots of housework, then maybe some shopping in between, picking up things from the pharmacy, going on walks with a little one if she's awake. She wakes up after 2 hours always and then is awake for 2 hours. Sleeps for 2 hours, is awake for 2 hours, cooking, work out in between somewhere there. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And how do you think, I know
the day continues.
Yeah, how do you think that's going to change in, 6 months when you go back to work?
It'll definitely be much more stressful. I don't know. I guess the day starts around the same time. I have to be at work around 8. And then it'll be much harder to figure out now that the time I have to do, let's say, the workout, going back on that journey, it'll be much more difficult to do when I'm working, and I don't really know when
planning some things.
I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
With cooking dinner and
maybe
cleaning.
We'll have to team up on this
kids.
now.
Yeah.
Balance out the work.
Yeah, for sure. I think now I have time to do everything around the house, whereas if I'm back at work, it'll be 50-50 again somehow.
All right, I should have maybe prepped you with this question, but maybe something jumps into your mind right away. What's the one thing that you wish men or people or women that aren't mothers or have families to care for, what is one thing you wish they knew more about the mental and physical load of being a mom?
The mental and physical load?
Yeah.
Well, you're sleep deprived all the time. So, I don't know. I think you're on edge because you're sleep deprived. So, mentally, you have to somehow keep it together. Even when you get annoyed because your child for the 6th time hasn't listened to what you've said to not explode or to just give up. So I think mental strength is super important. And physical as well. You obviously, if you're not sleeping throughout the night, you feel drained. But I think then something like working out actually does help and give you a little bit more energy. I don't know. I think there's so much and so many different aspects, but I don't know if it's worth talking about because it's not so much then also related to sports. But there's the mental strength of being just you and a baby all day long and not having any adult conversations or. Yeah. I don't know, the mental strength to be okay with letting your job kind of sit for a year and devoting yourself to a family and knowing that when you come back, you kind of have to build your place at work up again. And yeah, the career, I think there's so many different aspects and things
It's complex.
Yeah, it's very complex.
Yeah, because as a dad, I think the last 3 years for me were trying to figure out how to be there for you, how to be a dad, but also keep some money coming into the household. Mm-hmm. While not wanting to. Like, I would have loved to just be here for the kids and you and go out to the park every single day. I love what I do, but I think it's just so much more fun to hang out with the little kids and go on adventures and see the world through their eyes. So that for me was a bit difficult, I guess, because like, what do I want to be for the family? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to be this. I know that I want to be a really awesome dad and partner. I want to be here, but I also want to have an identity outside of just our relationship and and being a dad. And I realized that actually, I think last year, because I think I had told you I would drop everything and just be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, and now that I hear you talking about it, I'm like, yeah, but then where's your identity as a human? You know, it's amazing to be a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home mom. But then when the kids leave at 18, now you're just a stay-at-home. You're still a parent because your kids need you forever, but that I started thinking about that this past year. Then I was like, okay, actually, it's pretty cool for our daughters to see what I do and see what you do as a teacher. It's like when I have a fitness studio in our apartment. Thanks for letting me have that. But when I see our oldest daughter wake up and open the door and sit down and just watch the group move, watch the women move, actually, mostly, she's so amazed by these strong women that come and do some of my strength classes. And I think that alone for me is a stamp of approval that doing this, at least, is the right journey for me. But this isn't just about me, so let's finish up with if you could give your pre-mom self one piece of advice other than not having kids, what would it be?
To dedicate more time for yourself and keeping your own identity and taking care of yourself more rather than just doing 100% and giving everything for the kids. Because if you have a mental breakdown, then nothing's running anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for you? No, not specifically.
No. That's fine. Then I will just give you like a rapid fire to finish up.
Okay.
You can give me like one sentence answers.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest shift in our relationship since becoming parents?
Biggest.
I didn't prep that one very well.
No.
I guess you can just say it.
Our sex life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Biggest shift for sure.
Doesn't exist really. Yeah. I can't. Well, you probably can't believe we're saying this right now. It's okay. Thanks for being a part of this. And second question: what's one thing you think we really do well together as parents?
What we do really well, I think, supporting our kids and making sure that they are people who believe in themselves, being adventurous. Yeah, keeping them on their toes, not having them just sit around, watch TV, and look at a screen. I think we're really good at keeping them outside and going.
And what's one thing we need to work on?
I don't know.
Not as parents, just generally.
Just generally. Our communication.
And how do you see our family's relationship with health and fitness evolving as the kids grow up?
I could imagine that if I am able, and you as well, I think your journey in sports has been more on the downside, but maybe going up just like mine now. I think if you and I were able to get back to what we used to do, I think it would be very empowering for Cleo, and she'd probably love to get in it, and she'd find her own journey in fitness and sports. I think she's obviously already showing a lot of interest in gymnastics, and I think it would be the same for the little one as well.
Awesome. Last one. If you could sum up your journey from pre-kids to now in one sentence, what would it be?
From pre-kids to now? Party to stay at home. I don't know.
Some typical Berliner
Yeah.
going out and having a free spirit life to...
Sitting at home a lot.
It's fine. So I just wanted to finish this by saying thank you and I love you. I think it's very special for you to take this time and share very intimate experiences with not only me, but with maybe the 8th person who's listening now instead of 7. I think a lot of the things that you said will resonate with a lot of people, which is another reason why I wanted to have you on. So thank you for doing this with me. And for everyone who's listening, if this episode resonated with you, let us know. Send me a message, drop a comment, and let me know if you want to have Kim on again, because I know I'd love to have it. Maybe we talk about how things are going in 6 months, a year, and maybe we can even make some workout videos together.
Yeah, dive deeper into a topic.
Yeah. All right. Well,
thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
I love you too.
All right. I finish, not that anybody gets to this point in the podcast, I finish with 3 breaths.
Okay.
We do it together. Ready?
Okay.
Breathe in.
Mm-hmm.
One more, 2 more. The last one we hold. You can stretch your arms and let it go. High five.
Nice.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.